In this video, we're going to talk about something called the list interface. Now, you might have seen that on your odds and ends checklist, and this is the one that we're going to be checking off. So to start, I'm going to take us through this handout, which doesn't really seem like it's going to have much to do with lists, but I promise it will at least somewhat connect to what we're going to talk about for this odd or end. So let's first start at the top. At the top, I've got kind of three things that I'm defining. The first is public interface likable. What is likable? Likable is an interface. And what is an interface? Remember from our polymorphism unit that an interface is a contract, which means that if I want to be a likable, and I don't mean likable as in people like you, I mean likable as in you can click the like button on something. So think like an Instagram post or a TikTok or a tweet or something like that. Do they call them tweets anymore? X posts? I don't know. But something that you can like press the like button on. That's what a likable is. So if I want to be a likable, I have to have written all of the methods that, whatever they are, that exists in the interface likable, which is just a list of methods. Then I have this public class Facebook post implements likable. So is it fair to say a Facebook post is a likable? Yeah. Facebook post is just some class that does implement this interface. So a Facebook post has all of the methods in it that are listed in the likable interface. Then I have another class, public class relationship change extends Facebook post. So what's that relationship here? A relationship change is a Facebook post. And specifically, a relationship change is a subclass of Facebook post, which is the superclass. Now, you guys may not have been around in like the booming Facebook era, but one of the things that I feel like was really weird and also popular on Facebook was that many people used to put their relationship status on Facebook, and it was always really big and dramatic. So somebody would post, oh my gosh, I'm in a relationship with this person, and everyone would like it. It's so exciting. People would comment on it, whatever. And then there was weirdly, you could change your relationship status to either single or like it's complicated. So you would see somebody be like, I'm in a relationship with Sam. And then like a week later, oh, changed relationship status to it's complicated with Sam. Like super awkward. Anyways, that's what a relationship change is. So let's go through this list and let's think about which of the following of these I am allowed to do. And that's what this sentence is saying when I say which of the following will compile without error. Like if I typed this into BlueJ, it would actually let me run it. So Facebook post A equals new Facebook post. Am I allowed to make a new Facebook post? Yeah, Facebook post is just a class. Likable B equals new likable. Am I allowed to do this? No, I'm not. Remember, likable is an interface, which means that I can't, what's that fancy word, instantiate a likable, which means I am not allowed to make a new one. And why is that? Because all an interface is a list of methods. And if I don't have code in those methods, that means I can't make a new one of that thing because I don't know how those methods work for that thing. And then am I allowed to say relationship change C equals new relationship change? For sure, yes, I am. So actually, let's go through and I'll start highlighting these. The ones that I can do, I'm going to highlight this green color. Am I allowed to make an array list of Facebook posts? Yeah, I'm totally allowed to do this. That's perfectly fine. Am I allowed to make an array list of relationship changes? Yep, can totally do this. We've done this lots of times before. Both of these are just classes. Am I allowed to make an array list of likables? Yes, I totally am. Now, why is this different than this line up here? Because I'm never actually making a new likable. All I'm saying with this array list is that everything in here has to implement the likable class, which means, am I allowed to add a Facebook post to this array list? Yeah, totally, I implement likable. Am I allowed to add a relationship change to this array list? Yeah, because a relationship change extends Facebook post. And guess what? Facebook post already fulfills that contract with likable, which means relationship change will too. So let's highlight this as well. Keep going through. Am I allowed to say relationship change D equals new Facebook post? I'm actually not. And this is where this might get a little bit complicated, but if you think about the thing on the left is the more specific thing. A Facebook post is not necessarily a relationship change. So you can have different types on the different side of this equal sign, but the thing on the left needs to be the more general type versus the thing on the right needs to be the more specific type. If that's a little confusing for you, you can think back to particles. And in our particles project, there were a lot of times where we said something like particle P equals, and then we would do like grid RC. And the thing at grid RC, couldn't it be an ice particle or a dirt particle or a water particle? It was the more specific thing. So the more general thing always has to go on the left. The more specific thing always has to go on the right. So I'm actually not allowed to do this because not every Facebook post is a relationship change. Am I allowed to do relationship change E equals new likable? No, I can't say new likable, right? New likable, I'm not allowed to, again, make a new one of an interface. Changes is my array list of relationship changes. Can I add a new Facebook post to that? No, because not every Facebook post is a relationship change. I'm not allowed to do that. And am I allowed to do changes.add new likable? No, I can never say new likable. All right, let's keep going. Facebook post F equals new relationship change. Yes, I totally am allowed to do this. And that's because, again, the less specific thing is on the left, the more specific thing on the right is on the right. A relationship change is a type of Facebook post, so I'm good to go there. Am I allowed to say Facebook post G equals new likable? No, I can never say new likable. Posts is my array list of Facebook posts. Can I add a new relationship change to that? Yeah, totally. A relationship change is a type of Facebook post, so I am allowed to do that. Can I say post.add new likable? No, I am never allowed to say new likable. All right, down here, 4 more. Can I say likable H equals new relationship change? Yes, because relationship change is a likable. Likable is the more general thing. Relationship change is the specific version of that. So yeah, I'm allowed to do that. Am I allowed to say likable I equals new Facebook post? Yes, because again, Facebook post is a likable. So I am allowed to do this. Am I allowed to say likes, which is my array list of likables, dot add new relationship change? Yeah, because a relationship change is a likable. And am I allowed to do likes dot add new Facebook post? Yeah, because a Facebook post is a likable. So we went through this kind of learning the relationships between these things. What's the point here? And it might not feel like this kind of fully connects, but I promise it still will connect to the thing that we're about to talk about in a second. There have been a couple times where you guys have been doing kind of old AP problems and you might see something like this. Things equals new array list, string, open, close, semicolon. And I've basically told you when you see list, treat it like it says array list. But now I'm actually going to tell you what this thing is. So I'm going to open up a web browser. Sure, this works. And we're going to search for list interface Java. And if I scroll down, let's click on the one from Oracle. Remember, Oracle's the company that actually manages and maintains the Java programming language. And here we go. Here is the list interface. So what is special about that is that list is an interface, and an array list is actually one specific type of list. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, how the hell else could I do a list? Really, the only way I can think of is an array list. Well, there's actually all these other different types of lists that you see, like an abstract list. Here's array list, a linked list, a stack, a vector. Some of these, if you take a data structures class or our advanced topics class at SHP next year, you'll see a lot of these. You'll actually learn linked list, stack, and vector and how those are different from an array list. Remember, list is an interface. What does an interface mean is that all lists have to have written all of the methods that exist in this interface. Let's look at some of them. Here's the methods in the list interface. Look, I have to be able to add to my list. Does an array list have a method called add? Yeah, it totally does. What are some others that we've seen before? Look, I have to be able to remove from my list. Array list also has that method. There's also set. We've definitely seen that. There's size, right? All of the methods that we've learned for an array list all exist in this list interface. And why is that? Because ArrayList implements list. And you can see there's actually a lot more that we've never really talked about that we don't need to use necessarily for ArrayList that maybe are useful, but we haven't really used in this class. So why is this important? Well, I just wanted to be able to explain why you've kind of seen this in the past, and also get you thinking that there actually are these other types of lists that you might learn and use later. So now what you can do, you can take a pen or a pencil and do a little check mark on list interface off of your odds and ends checklist.